Aí você vai querer assim então, né? Desse jeitinho aqui, né? Show. Okay. Good. Beleza. É só isso. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Invictus Barber Academy. And today I'm gonna execute this haircut. He just showed me something on his phone. I'm going to replicate here on his haircut. What we're gonna do like a low fade, like a very low around the ears and back. And we're gonna take a vertical sections here, so make sure his head is popping out here too much. He's got a like big head. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make square layers. I'm gonna make his face more slimmer. I'm gonna trim the top, make a little bit of, I'm gonna lift this, I'm gonna put this up like with a little bit of mass look. I'm gonna add some texture, and that's what I'm gonna do. And also in the back, in his crown, what I'm gonna do, his crown is flat. I'm gonna use the hair to kind of compensate this area, the crown. I'm gonna use the hair, so I'm not gonna go too high. I'm gonna leave some hair here to compensate. So that's what we're gonna do today. The first thing we need to look at, guys, it is, remember the class when I told you how to identify client's shape face? What I'm gonna do here, I look at his face. His face is kind of full and it's big. I'm gonna try to use the head to slim out a little bit, make his face more slimmer. What I'm gonna do, the first thing I look at it is, remember, section from chin to nose, nose to eyebrows, eyebrows to the head. Remember that class? I was teaching you how you identify that. So in here, he doesn't have much hair to work with. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna work with the hair from the head to kind of slim out his face a little bit, because right around the parietal ridge, it's kind of too much far out. His bone structure is too big. I'm gonna make it slimmer, and the hair's a little bit short, but the front a little bit longer, messy. So the idea is to use the hair to compensate areas that need to be compensated, and use the hair to make to fit and do something that is suitable for him. So guys, now before I start cutting, what I do, I imagine my style. Within those style, I have to use some techniques. To achieve my style. But before I start working, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a horseshoe section from the cowlick, from the natural growth pattern, but following its natural growth pattern, as you can see. He's got one cowlick here, and I need to follow and leave enough length on a crown so the hair won't spike. And all the way from the crown, I sweep my comb to my higher recession. And then I'm start like cleaning and organizing the hair so I can start working. So the top will be separated from the sides. So now on the other side, so one side is done. So now you can see the hair is growing in this direction. So I can't intervene in its natural growth pattern. What I'm gonna do, I'm separating the hair from here. This hair wants to grow this way, wants to grow down. And from the cowlick, I'm going to sweep my comb all the way to my high recession. As you can see, the crown is right here, and the hair is growing on clockwise direction. So now what I did, I follow its natural growth, the hair, so the hair won't spike. I'm going to leave enough length on the crown. So on this side, from the crown, I'm going to sweep my comb. I'm going to take one big horseshoe section. I'm separating the top from the sides. So since the parallel ridge is kind of out, you know, it's too much round already, it's too big, what I'm going to do, I'm going to slim that out by cutting in vertical sections. That's going to be my base in vertically. When I take flat layers here, my outcome will be square. Here, the same. I'm taking flat layers in vertical. All around the head. There's no graduation here, guys. So in the crown, the same. I'm going to leave enough length so I can play with the hair. What I'm doing here, I'm using a traveling guide, okay? What it means, there was a guide that is traveling all the way from the corners where I start, all the way to the center, and then I have another traveling guide on the other side, and it's following me all the way to the back center of the head. Basically, the traveling guide is always going to be the previous guide that you do, and then you bring it over, and then you cut the next one following the same length from the previous guide. So now I still have some length here to play. So now my bases are done, guys. So now on the center, I'm gonna take a profile guide right on the center of the head, like a finger width. That's gonna be my length, and that's gonna be my shape as well. So now one finger width here on the center, that's my profile guide. So now here's my profile guide. I'm taking my length, I'm choosing my length. This is very easy haircut, guys. Very, very easy. As you can see, my fingers are very flat. So now, guys, I have my profile guide here, profile guide on the center, and very easy when you're cutting short hair like this. I'm going to pick the hair from one side of the head, and I'm going to cut this side following my profile guide all the way to the crown. My profile guide is in the center. Very easy. All the way to the crown. I finished this side. Now I'm going to cut the other side. What I'm going to do, my profile guide is still in the center. So this side is done. And I'm going to groom this hair to the other side. And I'm picking the hair up. My guide is right here. And I'm cutting with my finger flat. All the way back. Just matching my profile in the center. Very easy. So now I'm going to work on a crown area. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a section. I'm going to take a section right before the head starts rounding off to the crown, and I'm going to connect the top with the crown vertically. I cut the whole back in vertical, the top flat, and now I connect the top with the back in flat layers, so this is going to be more square and full. So now, since I pulled all the hair straight up and cut, the bangs, the fringe are a little bit longer. I'm gonna make even by pulling everything down and just trim it. So his hair is very thin. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put everything straight down to make a little heavier. 0 degrees. Going to slice his hair a little bit, add some texture, and create more movement. So what I'm doing here, adding some texture, I'm crossing, I'm closing my shears just like halfway without cutting all the way. But I'm crossing my shears, my lines, so I create more movement into the hair. I'm gonna use the blow dry now on the medium pressure and medium heat. I don't want to dry out the hair too much. I'm gonna dry the sides and already dry the top, put like the style almost set, and then the finish will be much easier for me at the end. But the focus here is to dry the sides so I can start trim and debulk with my number 2. I'm using a small round brush. The reason why I'm using this small round brush is just because his hair is short as well, and the bristles, I have this red thing here that helps me grab the hair and kind of brush and make my shape and make his hair a little bit straightened. What I'm gonna do in the crown, I'm not gonna use the brush. I'm going to use only my hands and and because I want this more flow, more natural movement, and without the nozzle. I'm putting my finger right on the cowlick because when I dry, the head sits natural on the head structure. Now I'm going to put it back my nozzle that is gonna give me a little pressure on the sides. So now let me show you how you guys use the brush, okay? First, you grab the hair with the brush, and then you come closer with the air, with the pressure and heat, and keep rolling until you get your shape, your structure, and your style. As you can see, it's a little bit damp here still. And I'm gonna put this hair up. The style could be done before, you know, like I'm doing now, before I start cutting using my clippers, or I can do the style after. But of course, after here, I'm gonna do the last details again. You see how it's coming out? The hair is very light. So now guys, I'm using my number 2 closed, lever closed, so I can debulk. Now I know where my base is. So now I'm going to start debulk with the number 2 all around the head. Make sure there's no hair behind, not even one strand. This is when I debulk with number 2. That's my base right there. And I'm not coming like in triangle. I'm kind of rounding off the beak here a little bit. And also I'm stopping right below the occipital bone. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So now number 2 on the other side, the same, keeping the same height, you know, same consistent height. Here now, I'm going to match both my guideline so making the lines very visible, same height, consistent in height. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my first graduation line, which I call 0 and below, very, very low. Around the head, the hairline. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do one finger width around around the ears, and 2 finger width in the nape, just following the same shape as the one above, the guideline above. And then still with the 0 closed, I remove all the hair that is remaining. Now I'm going to connect both lines. I have to keep in mind, it needs to be the same height, guys, same height. Otherwise your fade is gonna come out a little bit uneven, inconsistent. I'm already making my line, and I'm already removing debulking the remaining hair. Hold down the ears so you don't nick him with the blade. So now my trimmers, guys, remember my trimmers, it's not gonna go all the way to my zero. It's gonna stay like 1/16, maybe a quarter of an inch, like right beneath my zero. I don't want to go all the way up because otherwise I'm creating another line. And always scooping. So here on the other side the same. As you can see, I'm stretching the skin and use a C motion to remove the remaining hair. So now I'm going to use my shaver. That's why I call zero and below. Everything that is smaller than zero, trimmer and shaver. Same thing on the nape, connecting the other side, rubbing smooth. With this motion, you don't create another line, another harsh line. Today is a little bit different, so I did a debulk, zero and below. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to blend it down everything from 2 to 0. So I'm going to use all the guards from 2 to 0. I already used number 2. So what I'm going to do now is 1.5 open, and then I'm going to close my lever all the way to 1.5 close, and then I'm going to switch guards all the way to 0, okay? Scooping, open, all the way up, and you're gonna kiss my first graduation line, which is the one I debulk with number 2. I'm gonna close my guard little by little, my lever little by little. Now all the way closed. I only go high enough. I don't overlap my number 2 while my 1.5 is closed. I just switched the guard for number 1, but I start with the lever open. Sometimes you guys ask how high I go with my guards. You need to keep it in mind that I go high up to my previous guard, meaning that I use here 1.5 closed, all the way up about a little bit below the beneath number 2. So what I'm gonna do, number 1 open is gonna kiss that guard and it's scooping out. That way we're not gonna create any other line. And I'm gonna keep closing my lever. Keep closing. This is halfway closed now. Now I'm gonna close all the way. While you're fading, you're using 3 motions which is rubbing, scooping, and flicking. Picking areas where you have more density of hair. So now I switch guard for for half. I'm gonna start open always. This is one way in how you can fade hair, but there's like multiple ways. Just feel comfortable to adapt at the moment. Since like I have like a very low fade, I'm just kind of blending down everything else using all the higher guard down to 0, closing my guard. If you stop and pay attention, I'm using the lever constantly, now closed all the way. Remember, I told you guys that I would use all guards from 2 to 0. Now I already have my 0 open, and I'm going to use my lever closing down, and this line will disappear completely. Open, 0 open. Closed, halfway closed. Just be careful in how high you go now, because now you have your 0 halfway closed, so it's too short. Depending on how high you're going, you're going to create another line. What I suggest you use the blades flat first. Remove as much hair possible, and then you use the corners to pick. Don't fade. Don't start fading with the corners of the clippers like this. You need to remove both first, and then you use the corners. So now what I'm gonna do the other side, and at the end I'm gonna work on the back of the head, on the nape, and I'm going to connect both sides. So nice. Now guys, coming back on the other side, what I'm doing here now is I'm gonna do this side, then we connect the back, okay? 2 all the way to this line. Now I'm gonna start with 1.5 again, all the way up, all the guards down to 0. One, open. Half open, intermediate, and close to finish here. The same way you use all guards on the one side, you have to be consistent in height, consistent with your guidelines, so your fade will be all balanced around the head. Halfway closed. Zero open. Full guard, full blade. I'm closing down a little bit. Full blade first, and then I can pick. Closed, so I can remove the line that I created with the 0. So now I'm going to connect both sides with the center back here. You see I have the same height. So now I'm going to use my 1.5 and work between the 2 ears on the center. Open. 2 legs, né, Kate? Between the 2 legs, né? Closed. I'm descending all guards now. 1, open. Guys, when you're thinking about fading hair, like I said, there's multiple ways in how you start, how you finish, in how you put the guidelines in sequence or not. You need to be comfortable with a certain technique, but always gonna come down to the principles in how you fade hair. The principles are the same. Guidelines, graduation, shape, texture. Principles are the same. Just follow the principles. It doesn't matter the sequence you put your guideline, the sequence, if you're skipping one guard or not. It doesn't matter. Just feel comfortable. So today I work both sides and then I'm connect the back, but I can work all the way to the use one guard all around the head, next guard all around the head. I can finish that way, or I can work center back all the way to the temple bone here, one side, and then I connect both, working on the other side. Just feel comfortable, okay? Half, open. Halfway closed. This is the movement, look. Go in, come out, come off. If I see something higher, I need to open my lever. Open all the way, pick, close, goes back to halfway close. Since behind the ears we have a lot of floss, like deep kind of grooves here, and those grooves, it seems to be more hair, more dark. We need to work with our thinning shears. We need to work the corners with the clippers corners to pick those areas and make lighter and balanced and kind of more aesthetic. So 0 open. There's some grooves here. I'll pick with the corner. So behind the ears, guys, you're going to see a lot of floss. So we need to work with what you got, the tools, the techniques that you have, and then at the end, what matters is the result. I'm closing down my lever all the way to 0. As you can see, my line from the 0 close when I did at the beginning, 0 and below, like I mentioned. Now Zero all the way closed. There's no lines here anymore. Now I'm picking and flicking and cleaning the lines. I'm using the corners of the clippers. What I'm doing is the hair is going down in this direction and I come with the opposite direction. So now I'm gonna do a little detail with my trimmers. Whatever is left from my zero close here, I'm connecting, pushing the line higher, turn, belly upside down. So now I'm gonna work on this dark line here, which I make with the number 2. So now I'm going to start work with a 3 open, just to break that a little bit, but I don't want to push the line higher. And scooping right there, right at the line. You groom. Just enter the hairline and you scoop back, scoop off. I'm going to work both sides. So 3 open, now 3 halfway closed. Keep blending. And 3 closed. Groom to see if there's any need to cut more. Now below 3, I'm going to use 2 open, all the way with the lever closed. But I'm not pushing the line higher because I want to maintain here a little dark. Still line here, 1.5 open. Closing down a little bit. Closing all the way, almost nothing. Now 1 open, just to finish clean whatever is left over here of the remaining hair. Close. Close all the way. Half open, just to clean, just a little detail, just defining, refining. So 3 open. 2 open. 1.5 open. Intermediate, halfway close. And close. One closed, half open. When you use half like this on both sides at this time, is because I'm trying to just like refine and define, giving the last details, using the corners, making sure the fade is going to be clean. 0 open, 3 open. Closing down my lever little by little. 2 open. Closing down the lever. 1.5. I already used open, intermediate, and close. You see, I worked on both sides first, and then I work towards the back, and I connect both. One open. Slowly closing my guard, my lever. Half open, always open, so I don't hit the long hair and create more lines. Closed. So now I'm going to use my shears, scissor over comb, just to break a tiny bit of line in here. As you can see, I'm going to scope out a little bit like this so I can maintain my weight. Scissor over comb just a little bit. Just dusting the hair. I don't want to cut too much of length and weight. The idea was to maintain weight in this area. I'm doing a little point cut in here so I can just connect this fade, stretching the fade a little bit. I'm connecting the transition area. Now back here. I'm just dusting off the hair. Just breaking the corners a little bit. I don't want to push the line high. I'm turning and using the other side of the comb where the bristles are tighter, because I want to get more the shorter hair. I'm going to use my blending shears now just to connect the fade. When you're cutting shorter on the hairline here, on the graduation line, the guidelines, the transition from clippers to shears, you work with the barbering comb side. Guys, the haircut is almost done. As you can see, I'm going to do my hairline right now. How do I start my hairline? The C cup, I kind of create one horizontal line, and then I pick some spot here on the sideburns and connect this line with the line that I have been just creating horizontal, and then you remove the remaining hair by pushing your trimmers up. Now I have my C cup nice, clean and neat. Now I finished fading, line him up already, nice and clean, there was no lines. So now I'm going to do what's gonna bring everything I did, all the techniques, energy, my focus, my idea, my creativity, what I did here, I'm gonna bring to life, giving a nice style by using the right product and the right tools. As you can see, I blow dry already. Make sure it's nice and dry. Now I'm going to use like a medium heat just to warm up the hair, and I'm gonna apply the product and make the style, okay? Now guys, as you can see, I already warm up the top, I cut it and add some texture. As you can see, now everything is done. I'm gonna use my hands. First, I'm going to apply a powder, volume powder on the roots, meaning that when I apply on the root, the hair stays longer, it holds more, and gives more longevity to the hair. Now I'm going to apply a little bit of paste that is gonna give me a silk look, natural look. Now I'm making the style, only using my hands. I might use a little bit of comb on the sides, but most likely I'm using my hands. Nice and square, lifting the fringe, making like a modern look. So final details. So I'm going to use a little bit of hairspray just to give some hold and longevity, and finalize with my hands. Make sure it's very natural. See, very square, no bulky here anymore. This is the final look. Guys, this is the result, the final look. As you can see, nice and clean, it's square. I told you it's going to be a little messy on the top, messy look. Nice, no even one strand out of place. The fade, clean. Hope you guys like this class. Just follow, apply on your clients, and let me break it down this for you a little quick, okay? What I did here, I took a horseshoe section on the top and separate the hair from the top from the sides. Then I create my base by using flat layers, which is vertical sections all the way around the head to create this square look, making his face slimmer. And then I cut the top using a profile guide on the center over here, and then I cut both sides, left and right, following my profile guide with my finger flat, you know, and picking up from the front towards the crown. So after that, I connect everything in a vertical, and I dry it. You know, of course I did slice the top too a little bit with shears. I debulk with number 2, create my first graduation line on the side, which was 0 and below. And then I start blending down everything from 2 after that. After 2 down to 0. And this is the final look. Guys, just finished this class here. I did everything with love. Just follow the step, very easy. Low fade, square shape on the side, square on top, textured, faux hawk, low fade, as you can see. I hope you guys like. What you can do is, learning from this, you have to learn, write it down, apply on your clients, get a mannequin, get like a model, your friends, family, relative, anybody out there that you can practice it on them. And I hope you guys like, follow the step, and I'll see you on the next class.